The county closed a health clinic in southeast Portland 3 years ago, just off of 33rd and Powell. There's still a dental clinic there, but for the residents of District 3 in southeast Portland, there's less primary care options because that clinic closed. The result is that people that are uninsured end up going to the emergency care rooms at Providence and Portland Advis. And my top priority is reopening a health clinic in southeast Portland to serve the needs of the uninsured. And my second goal would be also to try to get the county to contract out its fleet maintenance and its motor pool. Currently, they do it in-house. 2 years ago, the city of Portland contracted out and saved themselves almost 30% of their costs. I think it could save the county upwards of $1.5 million that I'd much rather put into health care, deputy DA, GL beds, drug prevention, other programs. Another goal of mine is to promote a shifting of county resources to those in greatest need. And by that I mean specifically the Sun School programs. Currently they're in 54 sites across the county out of 150 potential public school sites. They have not been assessed at the 54 sites in greatest need, and of course in my district, my district includes the David Douglas School District to the east and Marshall School District to the south. There are fewer Sun School programs. Chair Wheeler has recognized that there's been a shift in demographics, but he wants to wait till the end of the 2010 census to confirm that. Quite frankly, I would be pushing and an advocate for that shift before that census to take place. That we have huge inequities out there, whether it's Jefferson Grant or Jefferson Marshall and Jefferson Madison. They differ. There's different electives offered. There's different staff, different amounts of staff per school, and there's different ways of coping. We have a system that, you know, I have mixed feelings about the school foundation that say some communities are able to raise money and literally buy teachers to help specific programs, and 1/3 of that money goes into a pool. A lot of schools aren't even able to have their own auctions or fundraisers. I mean, there's huge inequities out there, and as a commissioner, I will continue to try to move us towards some equity so some programs are offered district-wide and throughout the county, because I have recognized that, and that's why I want to see the Sun School programs that the county does have a point of contact use as an equalizer. I'm familiar with some of those challenges in outer Southeast. As I've been going to neighborhood association meetings for almost 18 months now, you see the same police officers that are assigned to those neighborhood meetings, and month after month they'll come in with a report on what's going on. And probably about a year ago, I was shocked to hear the officer assigned to Lent said there's an after-hours club that allows kids to come in without alcohol, but sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning, they have problems where they're issuing arrests, but they have no options. And they said other than one nonprofit that's not associated with government to take them as sort of a timeout cooling off area, they're not allowed to take them to Donald E. Long for more serious things unless it's a felony. How our system is broken in terms of not having those options out there. And specifically, for programs for girls and dedicated funds for girls and gangs. You know, I hope our economy's bottomed out, but if it hasn't, I think we're in for another tough period where we have to be able to address these problems. I'm against actually both initiatives because I think it's going to have a terrible impact on social services, the county, and non-public safety services government-wide. But yes, I support drug treatment programs. I support alternative programs that help people rehabilitate themselves, like Better People for transition services. I think the Mannix bill and the second one that was offered up just as a lower impact financial option could be devastating. Well, I think we have some terrific mental health programs here. I think it's unfortunate the problems of Cascadia manifesting themselves to the point of the county and the state having to bail them out, and it's not just obviously a financial problem. We're dealing with people's lives, with family and friends, who are in government in a contracted program that's failed miserably. My ideas are to go to people like Richard Harris at Central City Concern, who's run a very strong program, and see what inventory we have out there, because I hope the damage has stopped with Cascadia, but they're, right now they're planning, that they have to have alternatives and options if it hasn't bottomed out. We had a good quadrant system before. I think they tore it apart because they wanted to try to centralize this all under one nonprofit. We have a responsibility to those people. I think as a reflection of society, we have a responsibility. And as a county leader, I look at the safety and well-being and the ability to rehabilitate those people without putting them in jail, which is what some studies say upwards of 75% of the current inmate population is suffering from mental health problems, is to address those. So if it takes even taking those people in-house because we don't have the capacity outside of Cascadia, and Richard Harris says he's very concerned about our capacity if Cascadia goes away, then that's what we do. We have a responsibility as a society to take care of those people and allay the fears of family and friends that they're not going to be on the street. And right now I have to say that with Eric Stan off the city council, I am worried that there's been a proliferation of mentally ill homeless that are now congregating on the east side of the Hawthorne, Morrison, and Burnside bridges that the media and others have chosen to ignore. And I think that needs to be addressed. I didn't participate in the top off exercise, so I'm going about it just as I have about as much information as anyone else. I know there needs to be better coordination. I think there needs to be better planning, so you're not identifying your shortcomings during or after an exercise. I don't know what the relationship is with Homeland Security. I do know there's been some concerns over them not being a collaborative player in this. But I think we all have to get on the same page. I mean, that is one area in terms of public safety that the public trusts us to deliver the best possible services, especially in our current times, where terrorist activity is out there.